Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, got a shop visitor today. So brought down Steve Barton from Solid Rock Machine Shop. He's been here with me for about a day and a half now, and we've been playing with some surface grinding. So tell us a little bit about your operation that you got going.
Basically, we got a small machine shop. We'll get Adam in the picture here real quick. He's the actual owner, and I'm the hired hand. And one of my agendas for anybody that's been following our channel here, you probably have to get right between us here. Yeah. I know that I'm 60 years old. I know that my life is towards the end part. And I want to set my children up so that they don't have to be in economic slavery. They can be in control. And machining is what I know. And so that's what I'm trying to get them set up and training them in there. So we got a nice little start. A lot of you probably seen our boring bars that we made and some of our other products. And we're going to come out with more. Adam's now working full-time at Solid Rock. He was previously at a full-time job. So now he's full-time Solid Rock, and that's going to be a big help because we got a lot of orders that we got to fill. And with me being able to just work 15, 20 hours a week at the most and make videos, it was just hard. So anyways, that's going to be a big help. And we got some new products that Keith will show you. We brought him down a prototype that he can use, and we'll show you that in a little bit. And hopefully that'll be something that's simple enough the kids can make without my input and free me up to do the more difficult stuff. And it'll be good training stuff for them.
Good deal. And so you got a YouTube channel, of course?
We have a YouTube channel, and you can just type Solid Rock Machine Shop in the YouTube search, and it'll bring you right to us. And we have over 100 videos. And the push that I've had has been for surface grinding. It seems like a lot of people have expressed to me that they've been having a hard time finding good quality surface grinding content. And so for all of the people over there that has been responding and commenting and letting us know that this has really helped you, we appreciate that because we want to leave an impact and we want to help people out. And so one of the latest videos that we did, we actually helped a friend of ours take an old worn out surface grinder and actually get it in shape that would work good enough for them. And we kind of did the same thing with Keith over here.
I'm doing my worn out surface grinder. And that's part of the reason he came down was to help me out with some of this stuff. He is a surface grinding guru. I am a surface grinding newbie for the most part. I've got a little bit of experience, but nothing like what this guy's got. So he was on his way out to the Good Land Fest, which I'm actually going to be heading out to later this week, and he brought his family down, and they came and spent a couple of days in the shop, and we've been grinding, we've been fine-tuning my machine, we've been doing some basic grinding instruction, and I have learned a ton. We had Lance Baltsley was down here yesterday with us. Or up here yesterday from down in Gainesville, Florida. He hung out with us yesterday. And anyway, it was a really good time. So let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing. When I got this surface grinder, I really didn't know what kind of shape it was in. I didn't know what kind of condition it was in. But the first thing I did when I got in the shop was what you're supposed to do, which is what? Grinding the chuck, right? Yeah. So I did a little bit of looking online. I tried, came out here, didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of grabbed a wheel off the rack, didn't know what wheel I had or what wheel I needed to be using. That's one of the biggest things that I've picked up on this is really using the right wheel for the right job. It's so important. Yep. And there's a lot of black magic to it, I think. So I usually call it, hey, Steve, which wheel do I need to be using on this? But we got the right wheels on this time. So we basically took the chuck off. We started from scratch and really did it. So tell a little bit about how you properly grind one of these in.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize what Keith says. Getting the proper wheel for the right material you're grinding is important. But probably just as important on there is getting a proper wheel dress by using the proper diamond and using also at the same time getting the speeds and feeds of how you get that final dress and the depth. All of that's important because it can make a huge difference in the quality of your grinding. Keith, he saw this firsthand over here.
Yeah, and you've got videos on your channel that talk about a lot of this. So if you're interested, go check out his YouTube channel and find out more about it because I'm going to tell you, I have upped my grinding game tremendously just the last couple of days hanging out with Steve. Yeah. But we took the chuck completely off and we started with the bed down here, right?
Yeah, we started with the bed because the first thing a lot of people don't know is that you want the mating surface from the bottom of the magnet in this bed, you want it as flat as you can. If you got a bowl either way, in the bottom of here or in the magnet or both. Let's say you got a bowl this way in one and a bowl the other way in the other, and let's just say it's a half thou. Well, now you got a rocking, or you can have a gap, and when you turn this magnet on and you have your part up here, you also got pulled down here. So you're actually moving your magnet a little bit. And so when you're wanting to fight getting a couple tenths tolerance or less, if this is not flat and this, the base and the bottom of your magnet are not flat, it's going to be really hard to do.
One of the things that I really learned through this is when I did it the first time, I was probably going, well, number one, I had the wrong wheel. Number two, I was going too fast and I wasn't really taking those final cuts. You know, you're really only trying to remove about a tenth of material, and then you just go over it and over it and over it. Blank passes to get that thing really flat. And I mean, it was flat, but it wasn't really flat.
Yeah.
But it is now. It is now.
And here's the difference. Keith doesn't have a digital on his machine. On my little 6x18 manual grinder, I got a digital that has a 50 millionth resolution. And so if you grind something across and you even take a blank pass and you think it's good, by watching that digital, you can actually see that move of 50 millionths. You might be halfway across the part of the move, you come back, it might move down again. Every grinder I ever used, there's a settling that takes place. Now, when you get a machine like this and it's under hydraulic power, there's kind of a nice heavy clunk over here. And the one thing, it settles the machine good. But we could see, and Keith has shot some video of this, and what we're looking for that nice consistent spark coming all the way across this direction, all the way across that direction. We can tell if this wheel is settling just based on what we're seeing in the sparks too, even without a digital. So, but yeah, if you want to get that high accuracy, it's about having a fresh dress wheel, taking just less than a couple tenths, usually about a tenth at a time, and 3 or 4 blank passes to allow that wheel to settle down. And you'll be amazed at just that little technique, how much more accurate your work will be.
Yeah, it's just a lot of patience involved. And sometimes I'm not the most patient person, but I've learned that you really got to do that. So anyway, after that, we flipped the chuck upside down. We ground the bottom of the chuck. Same process.
Same process, but here's a big one. And one of the things that Keith, he knew he did wrong. You cannot turn the magnet on when you get it upside down, because if this is bowed and you turn it on, it's going to flex it flat to that. You grind and you think you got a flat surface, and then when you release the magnet, it bows back up. So you got to get this blocked in good, which we had a little bit of fun doing because we had a lot of kinetic energy going back and forth. But you got to get it blocked in good and have no magnet on when you grind the bottom.
Yeah.
Now when you flip it over and grind the top, and once you get this bolted down, you want to have full magnet, because with Keith, he has no variable. It's on and it's off. So you want to, you're going to have your workpiece on here, you're going to have the magnet on, so you're going to want to grind that with full magnet.
Yep.
The other thing that you want, you don't want to just really reef down on these bolts on the end. This one we tightened down pretty good, and because there's so much weight and kinetic energy, we have to go a little tighter than what I would on my smaller grinder. But then you want this other one, you want it snugged up enough that the magnet's not going to move. But what happens if you're in a temperature range that changes 5, 10, 15 degrees? What happens, the metal warms up, it expands, and so it grows. And if you have both of these reefed down, it can't move. The only thing it can do is bow up.
Yeah.
And then you'd be grinding on a hot day and wondering, why can't I get something flat? You'll be grinding on a cooler day and it's flat, and you'll be confused. But the thing is, if it bows up and you're running coolant or water and it gets under there, then you're going to get some buildup between the base here and the bottom of the magnet that's going to create havoc for you in the future as well.
Yeah, when we took this off, I actually had some rust forming up under the bottom, which tells me it wasn't perfectly flat. Hopefully now we got it nice and flat.
Yeah.
And he mentioned, you know, when you turn it upside down, I did what any person that probably doesn't know better would do. I said, well, how am I going to hold this down? Oh, I'll just turn the magnet on and let the magnet hold it down. Well, I didn't know that. That was a no-no, but we fixed it. But it's nice and flat now. I got a beautiful finish on this thing, and it really has shown in the improvements in my grinding that we've done with this, and we've actually done some grinding. Let's go over to the surface plate and look at some of that.
Yep.
So once we got the grinder all tuned up, I came over here and I've actually been grinding on some parallels, and we were working on getting them flat, square, and parallel.
Parallel.
Yep. So really all three things. So for me, before we came in here, I've made things flat. I want to use that term loosely.
Yep.
So and I'll say this, on a part like this right here, about that length, before we did my adjustments, I was probably able to keep it within about maybe 2/10. You get out a longer part, and if I was doing something maybe 12, 14 inches long, maybe 5 or 6/10. So not bad, but not great either.
Yeah.
And honestly, guys, for most of the work I do, it's probably good enough. But we always strive for excellence.
Perfection. Yep.
Yeah, perfection.
Yep.
So anyway, we did some of that. So I'm going to show you just what we were able to get off the machine just by making a couple of adjustments that we did.
Yeah.
So,
Now, how old is that machine again, Keith?
so it's a Landis machine, and it was made, I think if I remember right, it was 1962 or 3, early to mid 60s. I know for a fact. So yeah, I mean it's over 50 years old.
So.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right because I was born in the 60s, and
There
50
you go.
years old sounds
Yeah,
old, right?
As old as you, yeah. But here's the thing: we made the grinder a whole lot better, but it still got wear in it.
Yeah.
So, but with Keith, with his skill set with scraping and stuff, he can actually, I'm confident, have this rebuilt if he wanted to put the effort, so he can grind sub 1/10,000th of an inch easily.
Yeah.
We're getting less than 1/10 on some of this stuff right now, and I know he can get that every time without even trying if he wanted to rebuild it a little bit.
And that's definitely something I think is on my list. And I really feel a lot better about this machine after we've made these adjustments. Now I'm like, yeah, now I need to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
This machine's actually, honestly, it's in better shape than I thought it was in.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
And that's what I was concerned about, because in some of Keith's videos I was seeing on the surface, I was seeing kind of a chattery finish, and sometimes that's in the spindle, and that's really hard to work out mechanically. But actually, for the age of that machine, yeah, we can see some little minor ripple, but the finish from where we started to where we got, it's amazing the difference we got.
I was joking to some of my friends the other day. I said, yeah, Steve's coming to the shop. He's going to tell me I need to buy a new surface grinder.
Yeah.
And I got to keep the one I have. I'm actually excited about that.
There you go.
All right, let's check some of these out.
Keith had 3 of these blocks. They're about 57, 58 Rockwell, something like that?
Yeah, I think 55 is what we came up with.
And he wanted to grind, and again, some of the basics, flat, parallel, and square. And they're 3 different things, but they're 3 important things. They're some of the parameters you have. So we want them where they're flat across this surface. We want them so that they're parallel with the bottom surface. So that means that the plane that's established here and the plane that's established here, if you would extend that plane, they would never come in contact. And then we want them square with these other edges. So we have 3 edges right now that we have established that are flat, parallel, and square within. Probably, I think the worst one was a couple tenths. But here, we're just going to slide this under the indicator, let you show you with that age of a machine with a lot of wear on how good it is with just a little bit of attention.
This is a 50 millionths indicator. So you see the one down there, that's 1,000th. The lines in there are tenths, and then, and then the little half mark in there is a 50 millionths mark. So,
and so it's doing way better than what I expected. And again, I know it can get better with some of Keith's little adjustments with scraping and again, the experience that he has in that field. I know he can make it a lot better than this even yet. But this right here, it's definitely a keeper. It's nice. It's, like I say, better than I expected. So one of the things that I brought down with me is one of the cubes, and we do sell these, $975. And I will get them within 1/10,000th, plus or minus 1/10,000th in 5 inches. But most of them have been coming out in the entire 5 inches, flat, parallel, and square within 50 millionths of an inch. We've had some of the people that bought them had them third-party verified, and they got back with me and told me they were within 30 millionths of an inch in the entire 5-inch range. So that's one of the things we do. Now, I told Keith if there's only one tool I can have as a grinder, it would be a cube like this. Something so simple. But what you can do is you can surface grind, get 2 edges established, flat and parallel. And then what you can do is you can mount this, use some toe clamps, and then you run your indicator, make sure you're flat and parallel on this surface, and then you indicate, we already ground this, you indicate this, and what we did in this case, because we know we're going to generate some heat, we relieve this middle about 5/10 thousandths of an inch, so we just got a little pad here and a little pad here that we can establish our squareness with. But then we would grind this, we would turn the cube over, like so, and then we would grind this. And if this cube is nice and accurate, your grinder is nice and accurate, what you're going to establish then is a squareness, this direction, and this direction, in reference to these edges and those edges. So we actually got 4 edges that are on here really good. Once you have those established, you can go back with all 3 of them on the magnet, turn them upside down, grind this edge in, turn them up, grind this edge in, and then if you grind them together, you can match them.
Right.
And so as long as you keep the reference ones that you ground, you keep those marked, you can actually go to the next step and make sure, and this is what Keith is going to do in the future, he's going to want the thickness here and the thickness here to be the same. And so as long as he takes the original surfaces and keeps those good and gets these others where they read within 1/10 under his indicator, he's going to have an end product, some really nice setup blocks.
Right.
That will be match all 3 of these in all the directions there.
Yeah, and I can already tell that I've got to have one of these setup blocks over here. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that thing that is just the trick for doing the squareness. And that's something I've struggled with. It's like, all right, how do I make this stuff square?
Yeah.
And I mean, I know there's several ways you can do this, and you can actually do it without that. I've watched your videos on doing it, but having that block
so
is just so easy. And so it saves so much time that it's just worth it.
We spent, what, maybe an hour and a half for doing 3 blocks, getting them within 1/10 on the flat, parallel, and square on those edges. And it was just so easy on there. And then a lot of the time was just cleaning some of the coolant out of the hose.
Exactly. So really went quick.
So that's one of the products that we do sell. This is another one that Keith has purchased. And this is our squareness comparator. You can check the flatness like we did. But we had a radius nose over here, so you can actually check the squareness of your parts.
Yeah, let's show how to do that.
Okay. Yeah, so here's how you check the squareness of a block. We got a pivot point established right over here. And you get this set up with your indicator, and we got it preset right now. So you can come in and you can touch off that radius and you pivot until you find the high point and the high reading on your indicator. And right here, we're getting just a little bit over 1/10 from what I can see on this view. And let's see, I'm gonna try to stay out of the camera way and let's see, make sure I don't fall in the screw hole this way. And right here, we got almost 1/10. So we got, what you see over here, squareness on this, a total indicator reading within 50 millionths of an inch. That means you're within 25 millionths square per side.
Right.
And so it's important, if you got a good grinder, you got a good cube, like I say, it makes getting something like this in square with just crazy tolerances real easy.
Yeah, so the key is if you're grinding something that's parallel on both sides and it's square on both sides, you flip it around and you compare the two, and that will show you how far out you are with this. Or if you have a master, you can go up to a master and set it and then go check something else. Yeah. But if you're just grinding like this, you would want to check both sides of it to make sure that they're the same, and that's going to tell you that you're square.
Exactly. And so this unit, we sell this unit, and the base of this is made out of DC53 as well as the nose piece. These parts will be made out of A2. This is just a silky smooth adjustment on there. It's easy just to split 1/10 on there. We actually have a thrust bearing in there, and we're not making much money on these. We were selling them at $750, and that's actually we're making a loss. We're going to be raising the price to $850 on these, and we're still not going to make our rate, but we'll make enough that, hey, maybe we can make some people happy. It's an expensive tool, but for what it does, it's an awesome tool. A great feel to it. Now, this DC50...
Hang on a second. So $850 for this.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people say, well, that's just too much money. So how many hours do you have in one of these, and again, you're set up. You've got you're making these things. It's not like a one-off job like it'd be for a hobbyist, but still, how about how many hours of time is it?
We have a $75 an hour shop rate. That would give me roughly 11, maybe 12 hours to do one of these. I have that much time in the grinding. Because when I grind the fit for these fits are scary close. You can look at some of our YouTube videos, some of our Instagram, and you can see me thunking down on a part to get this indicator to move. And what's moving is I'm thunking so hard that the part's actually bouncing. But that's how solid this is. And by using this Noga base, I never liked the adjustable Noga bases because you lose your resolution. You know, anytime you got some kind of adjustability, you lose your resolution.
That's the fine adjust that you can put in that you're talking about,
So I wanted to come up with a system where I can have a fine adjust without losing that resolution and use this nice stiff Noga arm, because I love these things.
Right.
And so this was a solution. We got this pin going through here, and that's not a round hole. That's a 3-point contact on that hole that's ground in there. So we got 2 points that are setting up in this area, a point down here, and we got die springs down in here that's always constantly pushing up. And when I made these, I took a pin that was 5/10,000ths of an inch smaller just to reflect wear, which I don't think you're ever going to have that kind of wear in there anyhow, just to do that. And again, you couldn't tell any difference on the sloppiness of there. You can thunk it nice and hard and it would repeat, it would stay right there on 0. So this is probably one of the tools that actually I've been most satisfied because it works so well.
Yeah, and I'm just tickled to have this. And look, even laser engraved my name into it.
Yeah, so. and we'll lay, all of them will have the Solid Rock logo there, but it'll be free of charge. We'll put you know, the names on them as well. And again, the material, I want to just talk about that because this DC53, it's a newer material. A lot of people haven't heard of it. You can get it through Alroll Steel. I refer to it as D2 on steroids for anybody familiar with D2. But that one steel, it will get a little bit better wear resistance than D2, but the problem with D2 is very brittle. You can break it if you drop it. You can break it if you don't have your screw going in deep enough and you tighten down. A lot of people that has D2, you know what I'm talking about. You just pull a big chunk of your you know, breaks away and you take a big chunk of your threads and everything out of there. Well, the DC53, the beauty of it, it's got a better wear resistance than D2, but it's got the strength of 01. Yeah. And then if you do a cryogenic process on it, which we do, which is a deep freeze, that gives you 2 to 5 times more the wear resistance, depending on some circumstances, than what you'd have without it. And plus it makes it stronger in fatigue as well. So both of these are made out of DC53, and that's the product that we'll sell there. We have a new product that's coming on the market. And one of the things I want to train the kids for is something that they can easily make without much input from me. That'll free me up to do things like this while they're busy doing things like this. But what this is, if you got a Kurt Weiss, this is a jaw replacement. And you can see you got the tap hose. And these are elongated. I got the tap toes up here because we will be making stops and other products for this. I haven't had them made yet. But you'll be able to use these tap toes, you know, to position some sliding stop. If you like the little stop that comes with the Kurt Weiss, we provided a groove with a fit right there. You can turn the jaw upside down. You still got the benefits of your tap toes over there. But the nice thing about these jaws is you can mount it on your back. We're going to make some 30s, 60s, and some other attachments, but we got these so that you can slide these in and you can screw a hole in there. So right here you got your nice V-block. You can put you some spacers in between here. We'll be selling some of those too, some real nice ones. So you can take spacers. Right now we got a big V. If you got, say, a 1/2 inch spacer and a 3/4 inch spacer for smaller parts, it'll bring you up higher. These are made where they got 1032 screw holes, so that if you got multiple parts and you're wanting to put 45s on them, you can put a little screw, tighten it down a little bit, throw your part in. It comes up to a stop, cut your 45, pull it out, put the next one in. You can cut them all to the same length and it works good. If you got parts that you want to cut at a 90 degree, You can turn over this way. You got the tap toes in here. You can put stop. Now you can slide your parts up in here one after another, and you can cut a nice 90-degree. If you need a taller part in there, you want a little more surface, you turn them up like this. Other nice thing is if you got a cube over here, these are standalones. You can use them on a cube. You can just use them plain. You can use them in the vise. You can use them for grinding. So you can in combo with other tooling, and so they're quite functional with the different things that you can do with them.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm really excited to give this a try. Like I said, it'll fit any Kurt vise. And you got a price on those?
We don't have a price on that yet. We're still working that out, so we don't know. But again, the steel, it's a high quality steel.
Sure.
We'll be using, these are at 6062 Rockwell. These will be at 6062 Rockwell. These will be at 58 to 60 because we want a little more toughness in them because they are vice jaws.
Sure.
But even at that, when you go with cryogenics, you're going to have a wearability in there. I'm sure that's going to surpass what you normally find in a vice jaw.
Well, there you go, guys. Steve, appreciate you guys coming down. He brought the whole family with him. There's like a whole mob of people standing over here. Y'all can't see them all. Some of them are kind of camera shy, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah,
actually half the family. But most of you met, I don't know if you girls want to just come in here real quick, and Jeremiah, and you saw Adam earlier. We're coming down here again, going to the Land of the Festival.
Yeah. Good of the land.
Yeah, good of the land. Excuse me. And so the girls, they're going to be helping out a lot over there. I'll be trying to teach a class over there on some milling.
Good.
And Keith will be down there later.
Yep.
And we thought that since we're coming down here anyhow, it would be close enough that I've seen a lot of Keith's video on grinding, and I know that he's kind of at a beginner level on that, probably a little bit more. And hey, I met Keith over a year ago, and we kind of hit it off good. I thought I'd come down over here and see if he's interested, come down and give him some pointers on the surface grinder. And man, everything worked great. And we had Lance over here as well. And I tell you, both of these guys are great guys. We just had a great time. It was just a lot of fun.
And first time I really met him was at the Barzy Bash a year or so ago, and that's when we kind of collaborated together. Remember that boring bar for doing the Acme threads, a custom boring bar? This is the guy that built those, and they also sell some boring bars. Y'all do that as well. But this was a special threading bar to do a custom job, and we collaborated on that project. And actually, Robin Renzetti got involved on that project.
Robin Renzetti saved my bacon on that one because I was in over my head on that. And I just really appreciate Robin. He's such a great guy.
He really is.
I know he was watching the videos, and he's probably, I got to go in there and I got to save Steve. And he did. He did a great job.
He saved Keith too in the roundabout way. So,
but anyway, an awesome job. I really appreciate Robin. I never met him in person, but someday I hope to.
Yeah, I hope to as well. So, YouTube channel, what's the name of it?
Solid Rock Machine Shop, and we're also on Instagram as Solid Rock Machine Shop. You can just go in the searches on both of them, and it'll pull our stuff right up.
And if you want to buy something?
If you want to buy something, we don't have a web page set up, and people keep asking us, but because we don't have a lot of product, I don't want to have a website that says out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. It seems like every time that we put something on, even before we're ready, we got people wanting to buy it. And so that's a good thing to be in, but at the same time, I don't want people waiting forever for their products. And so there's other items that we're making too that I'm like these low profile sign plates, which I want one of my own, but I got to get 20 of these out for other people.
Keep selling your own,
So anyhow.
But if they want to talk to you about buying something, they can just shoot you an email.
They can shoot us an email on our videos. We have an email.
What is it?
solidrock@nlbchapel.org.
Okay.
And that's the chapel we go to. Well, it's a home chapel that we got, and I just got a million emails. It's a temporary one, but that one will be good as long as we're there. But eventually, when we do have a web page set up just dedicated to the company, and then we'll also have a different email. But that Solid Rock one will be good forever.
Good deal. All right.
And so you shoot us an email, tell us what you're interested in. These cubes, there's a waiting list. There's a huge waiting list for these, and we don't even have a price on these yet. But if you're interested, we can take your name, and we can let you know when we're ready to go as far as pricing, and then you can decide whether you want to set or not at that point.
Great. Well, Steve, thank you very much for coming by.
It was our pleasure.
The last couple of days, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you out at the Good to Land Fest and hoping to see a lot of you guys out there as well.
Yep.
So it's always a fun trip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. That's going to be a wrap. As always, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Go check out Steve's website or our YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber, if you're interested in surface grinding, guys, you're going to learn something if you watch this guy, because I know I sure have. So anyway, go check him out. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.